Hello, family. Angela Cage here with Cage Wellness Collaboration. And today we have a special guest. I'm not sure if you can see him. Up, Zay. Come. Yes, up. Oh, yes. There you go. Let them see you, Zay Zay. Normally, my baby is not up here whenever I'm recording. Oh, are you going to let them see your face? Oh, yeah. There you go, Zay. Okay, baby. Zay off. They off. Good boy. Good boy. Yes, normally he's not up here when I'm recording, but he decided to come up here with me. So I'm so glad. Zay, let them see you. Oh, look at the camera, Zay Zay. Oh, look at the camera. Oh, there you go. Yes. Yes. Oh, you done flipped the camera around. Okay. I know that's not what you guys tuned in for, but he's normally not up here. So I wanted to give him a little shine today. But, I like to come to you guys and give you guys a message. So this is part one of the series called Triggers. So, in this series, I want to talk to you about your triggers. I'm not sure if you all remember the Don't Get Stuck series that was posted a few weeks ago, but in part three of that series, there was a reflection piece. And in that piece, I talked about identifying your triggers, knowing what your triggers are so that you can easily recognize them. And then also, not only that, but creating a plan for addressing your triggers. But I wanted to delve a little bit deeper into triggers so that we could kind of really parse that out. So, in this part one of the series, we're going to talk about the importance of identifying your triggers. But before we go into the importance of identifying your triggers, first, I want to define what triggers are. So, the National Alliance of Mental Health defines triggers as also a stressor, but it's an action or a situation that can lead to an adverse emotional reaction. And adverse just means negative. So it's something that happens that leads to negative emotions, that causes the negative emotions within you. And it's important for you to know what your triggers are. You really need to be able to identify them. And the first reason that you want to be able to identify your triggers is you want to be able to recognize the triggers, because that is where you begin to deal with the triggers. If you don't know what they are, you really can't deal with them. The second reason that you really want to identify your triggers and deal with them is because time and time again, this has manifested in my life when I didn't do the work to identify my triggers and really address them. But if you don't deal with your triggers are going to deal with you. And I say that, and again, speaking from experience, when I did not do the work to identify my triggers and I didn't really do the work to address the triggers, they really dealt with me. They owned me. My triggers owned me because they immediately sent me into a tailspin, immediately filled me with negative emotion. And I didn't want something having that much control over me. So I really had to deal with the triggers, and I would implore you to do the same. That's why it's important for you to identify your triggers so that you can, number one, recognize them, but number two, and most importantly, deal with them. And the third reason that it's important for you to identify your triggers is because once you identify them and you begin to really explore them and deal with those triggers, you can really figure out some good coping skills to really deal with the triggers and create a plan for when your triggers come. So those are very, very important reasons for you to identify your triggers. And it really helps you. It really benefits you in the long run, because we all want to have control of our emotions. We don't want anything coming at us and taking us out of our character, and triggers can really do that. And I found a quote here, and I believe I used this quote in the reflections piece on Don't Get Stuck, but it is really powerful, and it really speaks to this message regarding your triggers and identifying your triggers. and it says investigate what triggers you. And that's identifying your triggers. So investigate what triggers you. Your triggers highlight what inside you need exploration and healing. So really, it's key. You really don't want to avoid your triggers. And I know the natural reaction may be to just try to avoid them, but don't avoid your triggers. Really do the work to identify them, and stay tuned for part two, because in part two, we're going to talk about how you can identify your triggers. So I want you all to win. And part of winning is being able to know why it's important for you to identify your triggers. So again, stay tuned for part number two. I want you all to win. I love you all always. And if you are so excited about this message and you really want to know, you cannot wait until the next message is posted on the social media platform. Go on over to the YouTube channel, because the whole series is posted all at one time on the YouTube channel. So again, this is the triggers series. And part one, we talked about the importance of identifying your triggers. So do the work. Do the work. We're going to talk about it. Identify those triggers. I want you all to win. Make it a great day. I love you all always. Oh, and big shout out to Zay, who joined us today. So pleased about that. Make it a great day. I love you all always.